So the searchlights have been updated in the latest patch, and the altitudes increased at which they will start to do a search. My findings for a reliable search method is to set the altitude to around 11,000 feet for the incoming aircraft. That seems to work quite nicely on a regular basis. Now, there is a bug with this scenario. The bug is linked to the timings. Now, I've noticed that between the hours of 03:45 and 04:40, which is effectively what I'm classing as dawn on that particular day, the searchlights won't pick up the aircraft. Conversely, at dusk, which is a time set between 2010 and 2035, they also won't pick up the aircraft. Now, I can only guess that this is linked to some kind of reversal method, whereby ED was trying to set up dawn and dusk starting points for the searchlights, and it's actually being physically reversed. Obviously I don't know for sure, but that's my best guess. So that's the basic bug with the searchlights as they currently stand. I'm also led to believe that the multiplayer scenario now works for the searchlights. Phil Style produced a video, of which I'll create a link down below for you, so you can go and see it in action. As mentioned in the update notes, the Cromwell got its body machine gun working, which is great. So that's the turret and the body working. The only problem that I've seen with this so far is that the body machine gun fires at a different rate to the turret machine gun, even though it's the same weapon. So there's a bit of a bug there, and I'll show you what I mean when we move on to the heavy infantry tank very shortly. Now, the Churchill also got its body mounted machine gun working, as well as its turret, but in this particular instance it's set up correctly. The body machine gun uses the same rounds as the main turret, which is a 7.92mm, I think. Each tank, the Cromwell and the Churchill, were equipped with two of these, one body mounted, one turret mounted, and that was working perfectly. Now we move on to the Greyhound, and there's been no change in this particular update. You can only drive the vehicle from a combined arms perspective, and you can't enter the weapons in any way. The Puma also got an update this time around. The Puma's driver's position was at the centre point beneath the vehicle. Nine Line said this had been rectified, and it actually has, so he's been as good as his word. Yes, I'm afraid, double bug alert here. The first problem is with the U-boat. If you set it to late activation, it will still appear in the game with a wake. Also, the Schnell boat, that now no longer appears in the sim when you go into the mission, which is a bit disappointing, and I'll show you the issue with that. Now, you saw me set up the U-boat as a late activation, which means that it shouldn't appear in sim until I activate it. But as can be seen here, it's still generating a wake within the sim. Now, obviously, it's not submerged. I didn't set it to be submerged. It is simply the fact that the late activation is not working. It's appearing in sim. There's been a historic issue before with elements doing this, so it just needs to be looked at. Here I am in sim on the F10 map, and I'm trying to access and view the Schnell boat, but this is what happens. It takes a hell of a long time to be able to access anything, and then you get this screen. So you don't actually physically see the Schnellboot at all. That's just recently been introduced. It could be linked to the supercarrier introduction, I don't know. But it's an issue that we actually need to look at as well. Now on the aircraft side, to my knowledge, there have been no changes or amendments in the latest update. There are still some historic issues. One of those lies with the A-20G. It basically behaves like a fighter and engages fighters that engage them. Now that's perfectly fine for the upcoming Mosquito, which is great. Maybe they're just waiting to write the code for the A-20 to work out more like a bomber. Now I know the A-20 did low level and did protect itself. But what we can't do in Sim at the moment is set its ROE so that it doesn't try to engage incoming fighters. There was a workaround mentioned on the forums, but my understanding now is that that doesn't work in multiplayer. So basically we just need to look at the ROE for the A-20. Another issue I've seen with the RAF version is that the bought numbers are missing a texture at the rear. That's another potential element that's missing that can be looked at longer term. Now as an addendum, I forgot to mention the M4 Sherman Tank in my ground units coverage. Basically, the M4 Sherman has a coaxial machine gun, and unfortunately at the moment you can't access that. The Firefly doesn't, but the M4 does. So if that could be added, that would also be great. So in conclusion, it's a bit of a mixed bag in the latest update, but no doubt about it, we are getting there slowly but surely. As part of the 2 community, we would appreciate, or I certainly would appreciate, some updates to the World War II Assets Pack. So ED, if you're watching, thanks for the great work, keep it up, and if we can have the changes that would be fantastic. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Ciao for now.